DeFi before it was called DeFi then, and then recently been working on a new DeFi project which is called Singularity DAO, which does manage hedge fund on the blockchain. And we actually won 2 awards at the ABC Summit during the week. So yeah, I mean, so a bit of miscommunication then on my slide. I'm gonna skip to the NFTs. Okay, yeah. So yeah, yeah. I mean, to make it general, I'm not gonna go too much into the tech side. I'm gonna try to be more generalistic. Yeah, the other company I work with is SingularityNet. They're doing AI on the blockchain as well. And they did also the Sophia the robot last year. And also work on an NFT marketplace called Jumi. So these people are there. So yeah, anyway, just to go on the, oh. No. Next one. It's not decentralized yet. So. Alright. Neither. Okay.
We obviously have a problem. Sorry about this.
Sorry.
Technology always goes down when you need it.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. So I mean, I kind of structured my presentation on this. Because during the week we had this AIDC event. A lot of people were discussing their projects and blockchain applications are there. And coming from the space and being attracted to what blockchain is at the beginning is more about the vision and shaping the future that I've been interested in blockchain at the beginning. So I wanted to bring the point of why actually blockchain is not necessarily a technology, but it's more a way of thinking and how it can shape the next centuries in terms of society building. So, I mean, maybe some of you guys are familiar with those thinkers, Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, I guess. They established the idea of state of nature, and basically whereby people who are if without the central authority, are inclined to fight each other and which are very violent. So basically, if you go to the next one, what you actually need in society is a Leviathan, so which can enforce rules on everybody and prevent people from killing each other. So we're actually relinquishing a lot of our freedoms to the Leviathan to basically establish a society that's peaceful. And for centuries, we had states which basically enforced the rules for many years. It was basically necessary to stay under the rule of a coercive power of states. And so now, with blockchain, the main idea is that you don't need coercive power to have a common rule. That's the main idea. And so that's why blockchain, for me, the technology is more a way of looking at society, where basically we can have a consensus the consensus itself can be enforced by itself. So yeah, in that sense, blockchain has to be decentralized. So basically, we need multiple parties which are not part of one entity. We need many entities, and so which provide consensus. So it's about having common agreement and not just one central authority that says. So, for example, if you're familiar, So, for example, in crypto these days, you have different blockchains, some of which are decentralized and some are not decentralized. For example, Ethereum is decentralized, you have multiple parties which are validating nodes. Bitcoin, Polkadot, but the main one that is not is a Binance Smart Chain. So it's like from one exchange, and it's not decentralized between different parties. Anyway, so I mean that was my intro on the decentralization and the philosophy of blockchain. Now I'm just going to tell you a bit about what can be done with decentralized applications which are more innovative. So one is Aave. It's a protocol that's doing decentralized finance, and you can borrow on the blockchain. So mostly, if you don't need a bank, but basically you can do the same thing with a bank. You can earn interest if you deposit your money, and on this side you can borrow money on the blockchain quite easily and have loans. So for any kind of uses, but also for finance, for banking, for trading, basically. Another use case is the DAI. So it's the same thing as. So the main problem with Bitcoin is that the value changes every day. So let's say you're going to go buy groceries or whatever, you cannot go buy with Bitcoins. And so the main way with the DAI is that you're going to go with a cryptocurrency that is not going to change value. You have other cryptocurrencies using the same value as the dollar, like for the DAI, but usually some of them, like USDT, are like a bank, so they have reserves of dollars in a place, and that's establishing the value of the DAI, of the USDT. The DAI is a much more complex mechanism that's using CDP, collateralized protocols, where you can actually store Ethereum and change the value of the coin according to the price of the dollar without having actual dollars in reserves. So that way you can actually go anywhere in the world and make payments on the value stable to the dollar. So I find it quite innovative. Anyway, so I'm going to now to the topic of NFTs. All right, so I don't know if people are familiar with CryptoPunks or people. So the main thing with with NFTs is that we're mostly using this. So there are smart contracts which point to a source which are metadata. So metadata, they're basically a file that will show the art that is connected to the smart contract. All those metadata are not on the blockchain. So let's say the people painting that we saw, that was sold for 69 million, is actually stored on a server. And let's say I'm a hacker and I have bad intentions. I can attack the server and destroy $69 million on the server why this person who bought the 69 million art piece has still the smart contract on his wallet. So we still have issues with NFTs today in the way it's structured, and that's why it needs much more innovation. So it's a new trend. A lot of people are putting money into it and everything, but from a technology standpoint, it's very flow. There are a lot of flaws which need to be fixed. So it's really a nascent technology. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip this. No, actually, no. Yeah, so just to stay to this. Right now, yeah, I mean, during the week, I've seen like a lot of the behaviors with people raising money. And in crypto, there is no. At the beginning, you had the idea that blockchain was to improve society. But now it's only making money. So it's kind of this behavior that you can see in the Ayn Rand book. It's called Atlas Shrugged. Basically, all the elites leave society and make a society for themselves and don't provide any leadership. Yeah, so the main idea is that blockchain should be going to improving the world. So for example, here is one of the use cases that you can have. It's blockchain for agriculture, where you can help farmers in traceability and protecting farmers from abuse in the pricing of their crop or the selling of their crop, so especially on focusing on the supply chain part. So you can trace the value chain all over to from the creation of the art, of the food to the delivery in our stores, basically. So you can protect prices. Anyway. So yeah. So for me, blockchain has to be has to aim at making the world a better place. I know it's been said many times in startups before, but yeah, right now it's mission creep. So we have to go back to this, and there is this famous philosopher, French philosopher, his name is Francois Rabelais, and said basically science without consciousness is the demise of the soul. So back to the topic of the technology, it's really about what do you do with the technology and what is it for, and that's the real problem right now. We're saying blockchain all over the place. As we mentioned, some startups will say we're using blockchain, but there is absolutely no use case for it, and it's not changing anything. So for me, it's more about what are your intentions and are you actually changing the world? Otherwise, we're not in technology. So that's kind of my point in general. So making money, yes, but to make the world a better place is the actual end goal of blockchain for me. Yeah, so yeah, that was my presentation.
That was very interesting, and thank you very much. I'm going to push you a little bit on the NFT area. Right? So, for the people here, the benefit of their knowledge, can you tell us in very simple terms what is an NFT and how do we use it?
Yeah, so basically an NFT is a smart contract on the blockchain which has a unique identifier. So let's say your phone number is a unique identifier. And that unique identifier is going to be attached to your art that you will try to purchase. So that's a way to trace and to differentiate from many other type of things that you would have in your wallet.
So for instance, say that I have a Modigliani that is sitting in my house in Geneva, worth $30 million, and I want to sell it through an NFT. How do I do that?
So I mean, one part is that you have the physical piece, and the other part is the smart contract. So it's more about connecting both, so the physical piece and the smart contract. So you need to say when I'm transferring, so when you sell it, so it goes from one wallet to the other. You have to make sure that the actual physical art piece is transferred from the first owner to the next one. So the smart contract itself cannot do that. It's just a receptacle for the value transition, but then to actually say that this is the actual one, you need a source of truth. So in blockchain, for example, we use oracles. So you can call an API, or you can go into the outside world. But for example, you could have authorities which are meant to certify the art, say on the smart contract, yes, this is the actual painting that was transferred.
Are there any questions from the public on NFTs? Yes, this one there. I'll give you the phone.
I'm just curious about the value you can give to an NFT. It makes sense if it's Picasso or Modigliani, but I heard that first tweet made from the founder of Twitter was considered as an NFT and valued at like more than $2 million, if I'm not wrong. So how can you put like a value on something like this and decide that it's an NFT?
I mean, NFT is just a software, so I mean, I can take a screenshot of the tweet even and connect it to the smart contract, and just say, myself put the value of it on an auction platform to $1 million. So I mean, it's really about then yeah. I mean, we're discussing that regulation or keeping in check what's been sold, but right now it's the wild west. So I mean, anyone can put a value, a price tag to anything, and there is no limit to it.
Yeah, I'm just going to add a little bit to that. So essentially, as Jerome was pointing out, an NFT is simply a digital image of an art piece. In this case, we're talking art because you can talk about other things. That is actually put in the market, but it represents a real object, right? It's a real object behind it. And what the market is doing right now is that you take these real objects and sell them as a digital representation in the market. But the reason why, because you're talking about valuation, the reason why this has become such hype is because last year, 50% of billionaires in this world are cryptonaut. That's the reality. So in other words, we have created a complete new area of wealth. And those people that are rich on all kinds of coins, Bitcoin is just one of them, they have all kinds of coins, they have that money spent in cryptocurrencies. And when you pay for that object, because it's an NFT, you're actually paying it into cryptocurrencies that will become fiat money once you change that in the bank. So that's the process. Valuation, as Jerome correctly said, is pretty much the Wild West, because I can take a picture of my shoe here right now, go to Jerome and say, can you make me an NFT? And I put it in the market and I say it's $10,000 because I think that's a nice picture. So that is the bad part of the market. The good part of the market is that for objects such as Picasso's or Monet's or others, the valuation in the market is the actual value of the picture today. So you use the current valuation, every one of these objects has a valuation, and if you have to ask questions, there's Geraldine Dunoyer, who's 30 years expert. Geraldine, can you put your hand up so that people can, so she has 30 years of experience in selling these kinds of objects, Picasso's, Monet's, etc. So she can tell you what the exact valuation of each item is, and that is then put in the market.
And so if you have authorities like this one, which are on the blockchain, you can actually trace that the valuation is right. So that's where you can actually connect with the smart contract part. But yeah, if anyone in the platform allow anyone to put screenshots and sell them very expensive, there is nothing to prevent it. Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes, there's another one there. Where's the microphone? Oh, yeah, great. Thank you very much.
I just wanted to ask, does it translate into anything? So NFT can be a property, an apartment, a house, a piece of land, beyond just art?
Yeah, I mean, definitely you can, I mean, the main thing is the idea of non-fungibility. So you would have, compared to coins or what we call in term blockchain, the ERC20s, so the one I just mentioned, the DAI, is a fungible token, so you can have many of them. The NFT is non-fungible, so you can only have one of them. It's basically verified by the entire blockchain, so you can only say there is only one of one. So that's the main idea. So a property, there is only one of it. The address in Dubai, that's a property. And you can verify it, attach it to a smart contract that says it's the only one.
One last question. Does anybody has any questions? No? Very good. I recommend you all to come and see Jerome afterwards and ask him direct questions because he has a... Thank you very much, Jerome. Thank you.